It's Queenie for President here, your girl Azmara, and I am here telling my life story and trying to reach out to people who may have answers for the things like I've been talking about. Also, trying to offer a bit of support to people who are currently in my situation, a similar situation, or who have stories they want to share and they feel like they can't do it. This should be inspiration for you. Hold on 1 minute. I had to get myself a little drink because it's quite warm out here. So today's video is going to be a little bit more of a discussion about my relationship with M, who's my eldest, he's my brother, who's like the brother up. Oh god, let me just, he's the third brother in terms of age. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to describe it. I'm like, what are you trying to say, girl? Basically, my mum also had another child a bit later on. So he's the youngest, then there's a second to youngest, there's me, then there's M. So I would say, was one of the, like, a person in my life that really made my life difficult. He was very horrible to me, very abusive, used to hit me, scream at me. He's eventually the person who told me that because I was pregnant I had to leave P's house. So I just want to talk through some of the things that I've been through with him. And I know that, like, I had a child, but I think they've all gone on to have kids and stuff now, kids that I haven't met. But I do think, and I do wonder, and I do think I owe it to myself to share my story. And like I said, I think he grew up to be a bit of a predatory person towards me. I'm going to actually start with the incident that really sticks out for me, because it was when I just saw him in a completely different light. Like, in terms of, I'll tell the story, and basically it starts with me starting an Airbnb. So I did my Airbnb in around 20... Right, hold on, I need to sort my dog out. Yeah, so basically, he was not in my life exactly around 2 years. Right, so yeah, I'm a little bit nervous telling these stories. I haven't shared these with any people. I had some people around me at the time, but they were not, like, great people, and they were not really interested in what I was going through. They were just sort of, like, around me for their own selfishness and stuff like that. But yeah, so I had an Airbnb going. I had some plans to, grow my business. It was all really safe. It was all really above board. And I was making decent money for a while. And then I was in contact with one of my brother's sons, who I think is, like, the eldest of his sons. This guy is a total, I don't know. I don't like to judge people, but we've lost contact since, because he just was very abusive and very weird. He used to, like, make all these strange remarks to women, like, oh, women are complete whores and women are this and women are that. I just had enough. And I was having a conversation with him one day, and I was like, and this is all obviously after the case and everything, and I'm already suspicious of these people. So I'm like to him, like, so does your side of the family know much about what happened to us when we were younger? Do you know who our parents were? Like, were you introduced to us over the phone? Did you get phone calls to say, younger kids have been born, etc.? Couldn't get no answers out of him. Very vague stuff. And he just, I don't know, I put it down to mental health in the end. And then if he ever comes up here and says anything, you might be able to decide for yourself. Again, as I said, I just don't want to tell anyone what to think. I just want to put what I think out there. And anyway, this guy is a complete manipulator, and I just said to him, look, like, me and my brother went through serious stuff, and I just think it's important for you to know, because you're one of our relatives who's like a bit famous, you know. I think he's got something to do with it. And he just was like, oh, okay, right, I've noted that, and thanks for telling me. Then I was, as I said, doing the Airbnb, and I was at a friend's house, just a few doors down, with my daughter, hanging out, just chilling out, listening to music. And my friend goes, I can see your porch light going on there. We know the porch light only goes on if somebody enters the place. Now, I knew the kids were in there that I was hosting, but I just knew they weren't going to be leaving because it was late at night, and I knew what their routine was. So I'm saying, oh no, that doesn't, I'm getting a bad feeling. So I've run outside. I'm like, oh God, let me go in this house. I've turned the door handle, it's open already. And I've walked in, and he sat there. I've gone to knock on the kid's door. You guys okay? I've looked around. He's sat in their room. This is M. So I'm like, what are you doing here? You know, and why are you in the kid's room? And they were petrified. There was 3 kids, like Chinese, young. They're just completely innocent. They just literally were like, what is going on? What is going on? He keeps talking. We don't understand what he's saying. He keeps repeating himself. He keeps talking about your dad and your upbringing, and he's telling us that you were assaulted, and like he was basically telling these kids our life story. Apparently he sat there all lighting up cigarettes and that, and I don't have smoking stuff in my house. And I was like, listen, you don't seem well, you know. The way he was talking, he's like it was like a Scarface movie. It was just absolutely weird. And I was just like, come with me, come, let's talk. He's like, I'm not going nowhere with you. With his knife out, put his knife out on the table, knife, you know. And I said to the kids, my friend, she's running sort of like after me, and I've said to her, call the police. I said, call the police. He sat there, he's like, I don't care, call the police. You think he started on me? You think you can go around telling people what happened to us, etc.? I said, I didn't do that to upset you. He was asking me why we don't speak. And I said, you, which is M, you told me you don't want anything to do with me because you don't know why I told everybody what happened to us. So basically, he hates me because I apparently went to the police. I said to him, I didn't tell anyone. The only people I told was the housing, and the only person who found out was Elle. And Elle found out because she read my diary. She snuck into my room and read my diary. I didn't actually tell anyone. So sorry, I think my phone was ringing there. He was like so pissed, and he's like looking at me with evil eyes. I said, at the end of the day, the reason I had to say something is because I found out more stuff. Like I found out I was also pregnant, and I said I had to talk to the family to see whether they knew what went on. And he's like, you weren't pregnant, nah. And I was, the way he said it, I was like, you knew. I said, oh really? I said, I've got proof. Come, let me show you the proof. Let me show you. He's like, okay. So I showed him the picture, the scan picture, and I explained to him, you know, this is true. And that means, if this is true, that means P, she knew what happened to me, at least. I don't know if she knew what happened to you. So I said, my feelings towards you and your family are completely different. I don't have loyalty to you guys. I'm on a truth-seeking mission at this point. I'm not interested in protecting you and protecting P and protecting whoever else. He started going crazy. He went downstairs. He started, like, refusing to leave, just being really weird. And the police came in. And was talking to him nicely, like, come on, because I think they know him, you know. Not because he's a criminal, but I guess he's been arrested before for, like, weird stuff, like having weird interactions with people and stuff like that. And they're like, come on, calling him by his first name, let's go. He's like, I'm not leaving, nah. And then he switched on the police. I think he even went to punch one of them, or he just went nuts. And all of us are still in this room. The kids, me, my friend, the police, him, in this room. And the police literally had to grab him. He was resisting arrest, like fighting off the police, or punching and kicking. They smashed him into the mirror. Like, there was a massive mirror in the room, like a ginormous 6-foot mirror. They smashed the mirror. And then the police took out the pepper spray. and pepper sprayed the whole room. Like, so we all got pepper sprayed, including the kids. So I was just like, okay, this is really happening. This is really happening to me. This is the worst nightmares. They're dragging him out of the house, dragging him. So the layout of the house I lived in was like, there was quite a few stairs which led to the ground floor, and they're dragging him down the stairs, and he's like, listen, yeah, don't let anyone make you think I don't love you. I was like, listen, mate, stick your love where the sun don't shine. If this is love, yeah, get out of here. And that was that, you know, that was that incident. I obviously, my Airbnb got banned, and yeah, it was one of the worst things that have happened to me, because it was the first time, like, since having my daughter, that I'd been able to, like, really get myself off the ground and do something which was going to help me to literally fulfill my dreams. And I told my older brother about it, the oldest one, and I feel like he orchestrated this. Like, I feel like I don't even know what he said to M to make him so angry, but you never guess what the older brother said to me. When I've called him, I said, what did you say to him? You were not meant to go over there to him and just blurt whatever you've blurted out. Like, I've told you this in confidence, telling you that he's very sensitive about it, telling you that he doesn't like the fact that this has happened and it's come out. So what have you done? He's like, oh, I only asked him. I said, when? Like, this is between me telling you, like, yesterday and today, or even the same day, and what have you done? He said, well, you know your brother's a Manchurian candidate. I don't know what type of weirdness you're into. I don't know who talks like that about their siblings. And if anyone knows what a Manchurian candidate is, and as far as his definition, because I did say to him, what do you mean by that? He says, it's somebody, you know, you can just say something to them and they'll snap. And they will do things like, he said it's like, you could be like a CIA operative, and the CIA could, like, use a buzzword or a code on you, and then you will go and do something destructive. And I was just like, oh, okay, bro. Okay. So, you know, my relationship with M, that was the probably last time. I saw him one more time after that. No, 2 more times. I saw him, and this all occurred in around between either 2017 and 2019. Now, I've got the dates in my phone and stuff like that, but he works at a school, which is M, for disabled children. And he apparently drives the van, either every day or some of the days, the van which picks them up. So I don't know why this guy was in my local area. I'm walking to the shop with my daughter, about to cross the road. Who comes rushing down the road in this van? It was like we had to jump out of the road because he was literally trying to run us over. And I was like, I think I told my daughter to run. I don't think you understand. Like, the guy is one of the worst people in my life, and so much has happened with him, and so much has not made sense, and so much has just never been resolved. So, you know, we barely contacted each other, even when he kicked me out of the house at 19. I mean, P at some point she would look after Nala, which, yeah, that's another story about how that all came about. And M obviously lived in P's house with the other boys, and yeah, I just feel so angry at them and so uncomfortable just even talking about them. And you know, he tried to run us over that time. That was me and Nala. And then another time he turned up walking past my house after I was like picking her up from school. I think we were walking into the driveway, and he walked past and goes, Nala. Started talking to my daughter. I said, Nala, don't speak to him. Don't speak to him. You don't have to engage him. If you see him ever again out here, you run or you call the police. And he's like, Nala, don't forget, yeah, I'm your uncle, you know, don't forget. Like, just saying some complete gibberish and complete nonsensical stuff. And I was just like, move away from my house or I'll call the police. I will call the police. Actually, no, I saw him one more time after that. one more time after that was when I posted about, I came to TikTok, I went to TikTok about the pregnancy. The video went semi like viral. I think there were about 100,000 views. And he turned up at my house. Obviously I did that post in 2021, 22. I'd have to get all my dates together. So many dates just going around in my head. And he turned up at my house that day when I posted, and he was like, and I opened the window, and because where I used to live, as I said, was on top, and when people come, I used to look out the window to see who was there. And he was at the bottom of my house going, oh, so you think, he started laughing at me like, you think, oh, I can't even remember the words he was saying, he was just saying something along the lines of, you really think like anyone's gonna help you type stuff. And I was like, I took my phone out at that point and started recording. And I was just like, if you know, when you think about what happened to me, you should come forward. But he was like, me, you know, that type of attitude. And I was like, anyway, listen, just leave. I'm going to call the police if you don't go now. I'm going to call the police. And yeah, that was the last time that I saw him. Obviously, a lot of stuff happened before and after that. A lot of violence. Like, he would be the one, like, holding me down, while Peter Ann would be punching me. Or one would come out of the side and start punching me, or punch me to the floor. And just over, like, say I would walk in the house after school, after work, after college, and I would just be like, is there anything to eat, you know? And they would all start arguing with me like, oh, you think there's enough food to go around? And oh, no, and like, I might just be like, oh, it's just like, fuck off, like. But I wouldn't swear. Like, I would just probably say something that they didn't like, and they literally would just come running up and start punching me, attacking me, dragging me by my hair. That went on for years. That, like, getting beat up. And that's another reason, like, I stayed silent, why I always kept my mouth closed, because I think I just got beaten into silence and that. So I got a lot of suspicions about M. I got a lot of things that I would like to say, like, about his personality and his abusive nature. And obviously I took him as a victim throughout my childhood, knowing like he'd been through serious stuff as well, but he didn't turn out as the person I expected him to be, like a loving, caring, understanding, empathetic brother. He was also very abusive, and I you know, I'm not making up stories about him or going to say he did some stuff that he didn't do, but I just don't like him. I would never. And the only thing is, like, I've moved house now, like, nobody knows where I live, and that's the only reason why I feel safe to come to the internet, because anytime I've tried to talk out or speak out, they've literally turned up at my house and started strangling me, trying to break into my house. Like I said, he turned up to my house with a pocket knife. Like, God knows what he would have done if them kids weren't there as well, because, like, I don't think he knew they were there. If he knew they were there, I don't think he might have thought, like, they would have seen him interacting with me or whatever. I don't know. Yes, and he made some nasty comments to me, and I think he tried to set me up a few times, and I don't know. This is a short video because I wanted to just share that one incident, which is him turning up to my house. Yes, okay, he has a right to be upset. You know, I'm going to flip it and look on the other side. He has a right to be upset about potentially somebody finding out something about him that he wouldn't want to share. And as I said, I was so apologetic. I was so sorry, because I told my older brother, and I told him in confidentiality, and I told him in confidence, like, you're pressing me. We've been talking for a year, me and my older brother. We hadn't met each other before, and then he just kept saying to me, why is it that I talk to the other brother, like I talk to your brother, but he says he doesn't like you, and he calls you a B, and he calls you this, and he calls you that, and then I'm like, I don't want to talk about it for like ages and ages and ages, and I'm just thinking, what can I say? What can I do? I don't have family that are supporting me, and he's asking me why. He's like, you know, you're not working at the moment. This is your older brother who's literally calling you from another country to question you about your whole existence. And I'm like, I would be doing this and I would be doing that, and I'm always trying to start a business, and I'm always trying to go to work, and there's always an obstacle because I either don't have someone to help me babysit, there's no child-minded services in the local area that can help. It's just always some kind of obstacle. So that's when I started my business. And, you know, because I'm a person who loves to work, I love to be out there and enjoying my life and earning my way. Do you know what I mean? And I had to tell him in the end because it's important as well. It's critical to my dad's story. And M is also another person who's really critical to like my dad. And they didn't get on. My brother M used to absolutely detest my father, and I spoke on my TikTok about how M was one of the people who said he found my dad's dead body, and he had taken his bank cards and took money out of his account, and it wasn't even obvious or clear how he was able to access the account anyway. You know, growing up, Pete always used to make really nasty jokes about my dad. Like, we would go to his house, and when we would leave and be walking down the road, she'd be like, did you see him shaking? Because my dad used to have, I think it was due to the medication, he used to have the shakes. He'd be like, did you see him? He's so pathetic. And she taught us in a way to be like kind of mocking towards him. My brother really picked up on it. For me, it made me back off. Like, if you would do that to him, who's actually helping you financially now, and who, as far as I see, only gets upset with you when you're in a heated argument, I don't see how you could be so nasty to someone, you know. But I'm not saying that M had something to do with it, you know, my dad passing. I just feel like he may not have been as sorry or as like me. I was grieving a lot, and I don't know if his grieving process was like mine. I don't know if he cared. I don't know if what he felt, because we never discussed it. I wasn't living with them at the time anyway, and there was very little communication between us, so I don't know. I'm saying I don't know a lot in this video because I think this is one of those videos where I'm putting it out to kind of see what it sounds like when I listen back, and see if any comments kind of help me to kind of like put a pin and a point on what's actually coming across. And yeah, it was sad. I spent a lot of nights crying growing up, and crying myself to sleep, and not having support. And as I said, there were no birthdays. I couldn't go to M as an older and say to him, like, can you borrow me £20? Like, help me out with this. I always had to find my own way. Even when he was working, even when he was on his feet, he never supported me. He was never like a brother to me. And I only know that from seeing other people with their supportive siblings and with their family, that they kind of like at least can pick up the phone and at least can sit around a table without arguing, without them trying to punch you in the face. Like, these are the things that have taught me what real relationships are supposed to look like. And yeah, I just knew something was wrong a bit later on. And I even had a occasion with him one time in my 20s while the police investigation was going on, where I said to him, don't you think like P knew what happened to us? How could this be going on for all these years and she didn't know? And he got so upset with me. How can you say that about my mum? And, you know, wanted to like fight me that day. And I just learned to stop opening up to him after that, or even trying to bond with him, because I knew he was a manipulator, and I knew he would say things to like try and cover up for them after a certain age, you know. Yeah, so that is for a lot of people, because a lot of people would have seen me out with my brother in my early teens, like going to youth clubs together or hanging out. But in reality, the relationship was really bad, and there are obviously things that I've not put in this video because they're either too serious or too deep. But yeah, I just don't trust them. There's just P and Emma like thick as thieves, and they were in on something together at least, and I don't want anything to do with them. And I hope I never actually have to see them again, honestly. But hopefully this clears that up for anyone who, because a lot of girls used to like really fancy him and always be asking me to give them his number and want me to set them up and all this and that. And I was just like, you girls are crazy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is for those people. And again, it's a reminder that talking out, if you are suffering abuse, and trying to hear yourself out loud and trying trying to hear yourself out loud and trying to put your story out there can really help to progress your healing journey. It can help to progress the process of justice in your life, and really to have the strength to stand up here knowing that these people may be watching and used to be able to manipulate me but can't now. This is the most empowering feeling. It just lets me know that I'm on the right track, you know. So yeah, have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're still with me. Let's stay together. For all the people who are finding it difficult to hear these stories, you know, I sincerely apologize, and it's hard for me to talk about it. But after you get all of this horrible stuff out of the way, hopefully we can start to have some more light-hearted videos, have a bit of fun with it. So like, comment, subscribe, share. Anyone who's from the community who knew us growing up, or, you know, again, hey, hope you and your families are doing okay. I hope you understand why I don't want to be in that community, why I cut a lot of people off from my life. And yeah, hopefully this heals those wounds. And big up yourself, guys. Yeah, have a brilliant day. Bye bye.